recap, and this week's race was amazing. It is the final one before the finale. It was a nail-biter from beginning to end. Lots of tension all over the place. So, the teams get their first route info, and it's go to a temple that nobody can say the name of, take your shoes off, paint red paint on your forehead, and it's a fast forward. Now, Dave and Rachel can't take it, and like I said last week, I thought Brendon and Rachel were going to get the fast forward this week. They were the first team to arrive to it. They went for it. Unfortunately, it was shaving your head. Oops. Not many women are going to do this. Uchenna and Joyce did it. But I got to say, I really believe African-American women can carry that look way better than white women can. We look plumb ugly. And Rachel knew it. I highly doubt Vanessa would have done it. And I highly doubt Rachel and Dave would have done it. So Rachel says, I'm not shaving my head. She's got a wedding to plan. There's no way she's shaving her head. So she goes, let's go. Let's move on. So they go over to the roadblock, which was spinning yarn. Now, this was interesting because they had to do coconut rope. It was not yarn, it was rope. They had to take coconut husk, hold it in their this piece of cloth, and make 40 yards out of rope out of it. It was an all-guy roadblock. None of the women did it, and it's a good thing because it tore the guys up. Their hands were bleeding. They were tired. It's a neck-and-neck race at this point. Vanessa and Ralph finish it first, and then, pardon me, Art and JJ and Dave and Rachel, and then Brendon and Rachel. But Vanessa falls on her way out, which whatever lead they had disappeared. Dave and Rachel move forward. Dave and Rachel get into the first place, and they go on to the detour. Now, it's neck and neck and neck and neck. Now, back in the hotel, there's Mark on an IV, and it says 3 hours before he's going to go to the pit stop, you know. So he's getting IV fluids before he leaves to go do the race. They're going through the detour when Mark and Bopper finally get going on the speed bump. They have to paint a tiger on the belly of a dancer, and they have a great time doing it. They're pretty good at it, too. And then they go on, and Mark and Bopper take the fast forward. Now, interestingly enough, Art and JJ are at this spindle roadblock, and JJ is trying to convince Rachel to go back and get her head shaved because he doesn't want to be fighting for last place. Mark and Bopper are back there 3 hours behind, and he's afraid that he's going to be last if they get the fast forward and jump way ahead of everybody. Mark and Bopper were so far behind that even a fast forward wasn't going to help them. All right, so Rachel doesn't take the bait, but something interesting happened. I don't know if y'all noticed this, but Art said she's really a nice lady. Now, I'm telling you, people don't just come to this conclusion 10 legs into the race. That is what you call editing. He's probably not said nothing, you know, he's only been shown saying nasty things, but my guess is that they edit these things to make somebody look like a bad guy or the hated person. And the fact is, CBS has done this with Rachel for 3 years running now. So I just found it very interesting to see JJ going, she's really a nice person. And I'm like, that came out of left field. It probably didn't. Just the magic of editing by CBS. So now they go on to the detour. And the detour is pack-a-derm or pack-a-box. Art and JJ chose pack-a-box, and in pack-a-box you had to load 10 crates of ginger into crates, label them, get them all shipped off. You had to shake them. It was tedious. In pack-a-derm, you had to decorate an elephant, ride it 10 feet over to a pile of manure, load 15 wheelbarrows full of manure, throw them into a truck, and you were done. In this particular one, everybody, Dave and Rachel, Rachel and Brendon, Vanessa and Ralph all took the pack-a-derm, and Art and JJ took pack-a-box. Big mistake. Remember, I keep saying, there's one detour that is a pain in the butt to do, and there's another detour that's much simpler, and it's a magic, you know, which one you pick that seems to be the one that gets people ahead and behind. All right, so, going back to the roadblock for a minute. Dave and Rachel. I have mentioned this Dave and Rachel thing before. I'm going to mention it again. She says something supportive of her husband, and he goes, I don't need positive encouragement. I like silence. At that point, I would have said, dude, you want silence? You're going to get silence from me from now until the end of the race. What a jerk. He treats her like crap. It's unbelievable to me. She's one of the best racers. She has an optimistic mood. She's not crying. She's not being a witch like Vanessa. And yet, he bitches at her 24/7. Oops, said a bad word. All right. Now, to the pit stop they go. Dave and Rachel bribe the boat guy and get him to take off moments before Brendon and Rachel are about to get on the boat. So they're on the same boat with Vanessa and Ralph. It was a foot race to the end. Rachel is very athletic and a runner, so is Brendon. They beat Dave, or Vanessa, and Ralph to the mat. At the mat, Vanessa shows her true colors. Vanessa has spent this entire race focusing on Rachel, nagging at Rachel, little snide comments. If she would have spent her time focusing on what she was doing, maybe she wouldn't be falling on her face, and maybe they'd be, more competitive. But from the beginning of this race till now, it's been she pays more attention to what Brendon and Rachel are doing than what she's doing. So she accuses Brendon and Rachel of not counting their wheelbarrows correctly at the mat. Now, come on. They have people who count at each thing. They don't give you your clue until you finish it, you blithering idiot. But in her snide, nasty way, she brings it up to accuse her. And I was proud of Rachel. I really was. She handled it well. Why would you do that here? I mean, it's one thing that you have to do this everywhere we go. But seriously, at the mat, you have to do it too. I think off camera, or, it was edited out, but Phil correctly said they didn't cheat. They got it right. And then Vanessa goes, well, I'm sorry. She was only sorry when she was told she was wrong and she made an idiot of herself. Vanessa, not a nice girl. Very mean. I don't like her. All right, so in the end, Dave and Rachel come to the pit stop first. Brendon and Rachel second. Vanessa and Ralph third. Art and JJ squeak in at fourth. JJ's crying. He's bleeding. He's got a cold. It's not been a good day for JJ. And he's very grateful to be in fourth. And I guess being a follower, as he is today, he still thinks she's in the race and he has a right to be there. Imagine that. Mark and Popper, even with their fast forward, came in last and were eliminated from the amazing race. That's my recap. Next week, 2 hours. And somebody screws up big time. See you then.